Yeah! Oh no, it's still alive. Yeah! Hello and welcome to this Warno 1v1 game with the new Northag divisions. Today we're on Urban Frontlines. I recently played this map in 10v10. And yeah, we've got Julius 011206 playing as Belgium. So I guess he's here. And he's up against ThreeSix playing as Polish Circle. So Urban Frontlines, basically blue's on the good side here because you get an easier time in center with the 4 skyscrapers. No, hang on. I got that the wrong way around. You do get an easier time in center with the 4 skyscrapers, but the main problem is it's quite easy for your enemy to attack Fedor if they're an infantry div, because Fedor's way closer to center than, for example, Elena or Boris are. So it can be quite tough, because basically the way red should play this is they come down here. But yeah, red only gets 2 skyscrapers to blue's 4 in mid, which does make it a bit harder, to tell you the truth. So swings and roundabouts, and then this one is balanced by this one. Anyway, Belgians could use a bit of work, to be honest. I think they're okay. It's just that a few of their things are slightly too expensive, and you know, trust me, we're on it, right? So we got some eclairs, Luxembourgian eclairs, and they're going over here with their forward deploy. I honestly think you could get down to here with that, but I guess if there's a airborne forward deploy coming the other way, you can't. But I actually don't think Polish Circle gets airborne forward deploy. I'm not 100% on that, but these look very much like recon forward deploy and only 3 men. So yeah, then we've got the ESR GVP, so you can actually bring these in helicopters and have them be airborne forward deployable in helicopters, which is pretty crazy. And I prefer that to the trucks, but hey, trucks work too. So got some trucks coming over, Luxembourgian Fusiliers. They're just like arm rifles, except 1 more man and airborne forward deployment, and also they've got fouls instead of, you know, and well, okay, a lot of things are different. But yeah, they're coming over here, and then you've got the ESR guys going over to there, and then in mid we've got just loads and loads and loads of airborne forward deployment. Look at all the places they're going to, right? All the usual suspects. Elena's a bit of a new one. Quite rare to see somebody rush Elena at the start. It does happen, but it's quite rare because if red puts a unit here, they'll kill both of those. And yeah, so Eclair's going to Ivan, and sadly they do take this dumb road, at which point you might as well just send this one to here. And an Eclair's over here, so loads of airborne deployed stuff, but no airborne TOW 2s. Which is weird, because yeah, you get airborne deployed Humvee TOW 2s, Luxembourgian TOW 2s, and you know, if you airborne forward deploy one and put it there, and you got to turn off cover, you've got to turn off cover, so where it says, like here where it says cover, you got to press that twice, get it on nothing, and you just put it there, and then the enemy comes down the road, and they just get smacked by a TOW 2. And a lot of people tend to come down this road, so that can be very useful. I'm trying to think of an alternative place to put it. You could also put it here, but then, nah, I mean, basically this is nice and tall so you can see things. But yeah, I think like here would be the ideal scenario. And then behind that, we've got 2 Milan 2s going to the high rises. Mech Fusiliers in the... So basically, this is one of the things that I think is overpriced. This is about 5 points too expensive. The Bush... It's basically got a better Bushmaster on it, because the Bushmaster got its motion... It's a stat clone of the Bushmaster, but one of Balanced Man's last wishes was for the Bushmaster to lose motion accuracy, and it did, but this didn't. So it's a stat clone of the old Bushmaster, so it's better. And yeah, no ATGM for 50 points, only 2 armor. It is rough. The Mech Fusiliers are alright. They deal a bit more damage than, say, arm rifles, but they've got a worse AT. So that's how it's balanced. So 3 MGs is decent, but keep in mind you've only got 7 strength and 4 rifles. So you got to see an MG like 2 rifles, like 2.1 rifles, something like that. So, you know, 4 plus 6 is... They fight with the strength of 10 men. which is pretty decent, actually. So, then we've got 2 Leopard 1s, and yeah, he's putting them here to... I mean, okay, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Switching to his opponent's deployment. BW1P with a bundle of sticks going to a laner. So we'll see how far this gets. I mean, that's a great building. The BW1Ps are BMP1s, but without smoke. W stands for where's the smoke. So yeah, the Polish variants, they didn't have smoke launchers for some reason. Poland used to be quite a poor country, like it was poorer than than East Germany. So a lot of their kit is like second rate, basically. And yeah, so we got GSR Recon. It's only 40 points, but it's only 3 strength, so that's pretty rough. But it's got special forces and the ground surveillance radar. You get it more just for the ground surveillance radar and the fact that it can be forward deployed, recon forward deployed. Zmot Zwyad. So that's just a 7-man sort of normalish squad. Might be a bit expensive to tell. Oh no, it's recon. Okay, that's why it's 50 points. And it's coming in a Razvedka, or Rozb, as they call it in Poland. A BWP1, so once again no smoke, but nice and cheap at 40 points. But yeah, the Malyutka M only has 16 pen. You need 16 pen to one-shot a 2 armor vehicle. What do you know? The enemy IFVs sort of left 2 armor, so that's pretty decent for Polish square. Polish circle even, my bad, this is Polish 20th. So yeah, that's there, and then behind that we've got 2 more. The problem with bringing them in the tracked transports is that they take longer to get there. Which at the start is pretty important. And... sorry, I am a bit under the weather. You can probably tell from my voice, but I want to make the videos. And then a bunch of T-72s, so... basically, you know, I would say that Polish Circle in general is a stronger division than Belgian, but the map really favors Belgium because they can just spam out all the infantry and Polish Circle doesn't get that much infantry. They still get quite a bit, but they can't really use their armor in these tight situations, right? So the T-72Ms, you'll notice it's not got smoke on it. So that actually does make it really quite hard to use. It does survive a TOW 2 hit though, so that's you need 12 armor to survive a TOW 2 hit, I believe. And then BWP2s, these do have smoke, and they do have conkers on them. And the Paichota Zedmech SVD is a pretty strong squad because it's got the DMR. The DMR deals over twice the suppression of a machine gun. So it's like having 4 machine guns, and 4 machine guns is like 8 rifles. So they fight with the strength of 12 men, and they've got a better RPG. So pretty good squad, but I believe the availability is a lot lower, or a bit lower. And then yeah, another honker. So we'll cast the game. We'll do it from this perspective. Honk honk. Right, so they're off, and it's time for me to thank the generous channel joiners, generously joining the channel. They get the videos early. Recently, it's not been as early as I would have liked, simply because I am ill. I went on holiday for Christmas, and then I was ill. I am ill, and so I'm finding it harder to get the videos out. It's just taking me longer because I have less energy. You can probably hear from my voice, right? It's harder, you know, I'm ill, right? I will get better. But yeah, it's a great way to support the channel. But yeah, usually they get the videos well early, and they get 1 members exclusive video a week, which will never be released to the general public. So yeah, thanks for supporting the channel. I really do appreciate it. There's actually quite a lot of them now. So yeah, I really, really do appreciate it. If you don't want to pay, that's fine. I understand. Please just like the videos and teach me Mandarin so that I can deal with the guys who keep ripping my videos and re-uploading them to Bilibili. So here we go. Fusiliers, they're going to get here. So this actually can't shoot down there for some reason because of the curvature of the road. But he's seen it because, look, he's unloaded early, so he knows about it, right? This took a hit. I think The honker shot him. Yeah, so he's putting the honker here. Something to note about these guys is that even though their sniper is like legit some sort of sports hunting rifle, it's got sniper range, not DMR range. It's got 1250 meters range. It doesn't have the damage, but there you go. That's a nice swing, right? So what he's got to do now is make sure these don't auto-sell back there, because then these guys will just cap it again. You got to send it over there. Right-click over here, hold Shift L, L for sell, because that would have been an 80-point swing, right? Because instead of blue getting 40 points, red would get 40 points, so an 80-point swing. Anyway, T-72's going in on the Milan too, and because this is quite close, he can actually see it, although this is about to be exploded. Yeah, and then, like, so if they lost vision... Anyway, so he's bought 2 helicopters, which is fair enough. They made them 135, so you can't buy 2 in a minute, but if you save... You know, if you saved a couple points, for example, if you sold some vehicles, you would have those points. So, having the CV one first is not great. You want the non-CV ones first. And you don't want to clump up like this, because you're going to lose them both. That is rough. That is really, really rough. The Mirage 5BA cluster is very, very powerful. I have been experimenting with just bringing 2 cards of the bomber, because I think the bomber can kill the tanks as well, but maybe not, maybe not. So I haven't tested it yet. I haven't had a chance to test it. So yeah, that is pretty rough. And yeah, what can I say? That was pretty rough. So the Mi-24Ds, you know, they're trying to find the Fusiliers, and they've still got rockets left, so they will clean that up most likely. It's probably better for them if they both focus on one target. But yeah, losing all 3 of those tanks was really rough. This is going to be a pretty uphill battle for Polish Circle, simply because he's a tank div. And his inf, the Paichota Z-Mech, it's alright, but frankly, the Belgian inf, once they start bringing in the reservists, you just can't cope with that. And just put a Milan 1 in every single building, or a Milan 2, if you can afford it. So, the reason people like this is because it has a 16-second reload time. But you see that the targeting always bugs out. So, like, it just didn't shoot there for no discernible reason. But if you can get it to fire, it has a reload time of 16 seconds. So, that's why people like it. Having said that, you know, you've also got to think about fuel. And because it's been up for a bit, it's got to resupply. So, it's not going to be 16 seconds because of the fuel. But, it's still going to be very low. Like, so 55-43. 55-43. Just remember that. 55-43. So, Pioneers RL 83, I think, are an overpriced unit. I think they're at least 5 points too expensive. Because, so these guys, they get... Belgium also has AT problems. The Blinder side is their best AT with 14 pen. A shoulder-launched AT. Even the Poles get some stuff with 17. Most of it isn't 17. But yeah, 14 is rough. I'm trying to find the one with 17. He should have Commandozi. I can't remember if the Circle div gets it. So, you know, my encyclopedic knowledge of Warno gets let down when they suddenly add 400 new units to the game. So you'll have to bear with me a little bit. One thing I have noticed is that Blue didn't buy any CV. And in a grindy map like this, it's often worth buying, because Belgium gets forward deployed Humvee CV, so he should have really put 100 points into a forward deployed CV. So over here, the Cub, it's not got ammo. Good job on landing that helicopter so that it survives. That means that the A-to-A missiles, the AIM-9Ps, can't shoot because they can't target ground units. However, that does open you up to ATGM. So if this ATGM was in that building, it would be shooting at this. Oh, he took off again. He was on low altitude. So that rocket plane's back. 34-13. So it was like just over a minute basically, and it's got sidewinders, or you know whatever Polish AIM equivalent, Russian AIM equivalent, and yeah. So he needed to evac that because now that it's damaged, it's actually going to take a long time to resupply, which is a big shame. So, yeah, the problem with these IFVs is that they die in one hit to bundles of sticks, as we call them, homosexuals, as we call them. a lot of people say that I'm like, I don't know, bigoted, racist, whatever. I'm only bigoted against people who beat me at Warno, you know. So like, if I lose to a Polish person, yeah, man, I'm racist against Poles. But if I lose to a, you know, a British person, then I'm racist against Brits. So I think it's like sort of the truest, most honest type of racism, which is basically just getting mad at video games. So, and it goes away again after a few minutes when I'm like, oh, okay, well, maybe that was a bit rude. So yeah, only people who beat me at Warno, that's the race I'm racist towards. The people who beat me at Warno race. There are quite a lot of them these days. So, a thing you can do as the tank division is push Ivan. And you can also push Fedor by coming up here and putting tanks here, putting IFVs here. You got to get your AA in position, right? Your Cubs, whatever. And then you run your infantry over here, backed by your BMPs, your tanks, whatever, which basically sit in this tree line, or even over here, or just in the open. But generally, you want them in the trees for the cover bonuses. It doesn't reduce damage taken being in a forest if you're a vehicle. It's just it makes it harder for the enemy to see you, which helps a lot. So, the Scott 2A is basically a SPW-70, except it doesn't have 2 side armor, but it costs the same. I think it might actually be a little bit slower, which is pretty rough, but because it would be OP at 25 points, so it's just one of those things that because of the price compression, they only do things in values of 5, so you don't actually have 260 degrees of freedom or whatever. What's the most expensive unit? Let's say 400 points. It's close. There's probably like, well, how much is a burrito these days? Anyway, so you don't have 400 degrees of freedom or a scale of 400. You actually have a scale of 400 divided by 5, which is 80. Quick maths. And yeah, so Polish Circle, I can't remember if Polish Circle gets proper jets. I think this is probably it. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Like, it's not actually a shotgun fighter because this is actually an anti-plane missile, even though it doesn't look like one. It's like an anti-helo missile. It's actually a radar missile. It's only got 45% accuracy, which is like pretty yikes. That plane is probably a bit too expensive for what it is. So, BMP-2 obviously beats Belgian thing. WP-2. It would have been really interesting if they added the BMP-2, the Polish one, without smoke launchers. Then they could have made it like 5 points cheaper or something. Or 10 points cheaper. Although 10 points... They could have made it 5 points cheaper. I would have made it interesting. I guess it's just not realistic. If they just bought these part and parcel from the Soviet Union, then they would just be the same. But that doesn't explain why the BMP ones don't have smoke. And the Russian ones do. So, yeah. 107mm. So that's the American one. Don't ask me why it's red here. That's just a bug. So, yeah, it can work. I mean, once you get everything together, frankly, Blue's problem right now is that they need something over here because they're dying, and it is coming. But yeah, they've got mid back, but Red has a 1,000-point advantage, and that was just because Blue didn't buy CVs. There used to be this idea, right? And the idea was, don't buy CVs early, because that lets you buy more units, which lets you win, and then you buy the CVs. But in most cases, it's no longer relevant, because all the units got more expensive. Like, all the infantry squads used to be like a good 20 points cheaper than they are now. And all the CVs got cheaper. So you could get a cheapo CV for like 40 points now. So there's, you know, which is less than a unit, which is less than this, right? But yeah, you see that even the weakest AT has the power to just completely stop any sort of armored push. So having weak AT isn't the death sentence people seem to think it is. You'd expect the 50 cal to win that, I think. Although the Scott is being sent to help. Will they actually be able to shoot it from there? That cluster plane's back. You see this has a 2-minute reload, which is actually reasonably low. But yeah, the Cubs... Oh, wow. Oh, it didn't drop all its bombs because the Cubs stress evac'd it. So, yeah, interesting. But yeah, I think Red's not really playing to his strengths by pushing this as an armored div. Generally, the map is harder if you're an armored div, depending on how armored you are. So, like 5e is allegedly an armored div, but it's not. And therefore the map's great for it because it's also an infantry div as well as being an armored div, as well as having helo guys, and it's just, you know, obviously just a very OP div. But if you're armored, you want to push Ivan. You want to basically admit defeat here at the start and just set up a defensive line. If you can hold these two buildings, great, but usually you won't be able to. So yeah, you set up your defensive line and you go straight for Ivan, because this is a +1 and this is a +1. So if you take Ivan and they're in center, you're fine. And as long as you've put up your defensive line, you know, so like some machine gun squads, I really like the PKM or just MMG squads in general. Oh, he went for the AA there. That was smart. I really do like him in general. And then, what was I saying? You want to take this, yeah. And then you defend hard with the MMG squads, and then he can't push any of these zones if you defend them properly, right? I mean, it is hard if you give this up. It starts to get very difficult. So you want to try and hold at least this building, or at least here. So if he jumps in that building, you can just shoot him, and see him. And then you go straight for Ivan, and then with your mech push, if there was not much here, you start pushing for Chariton, and usually you could get Chariton. Well, sometimes you could get Chariton. You could usually get Ivan. And if you take Chariton, and he's taken center, and you've got Ivan Chariton, you're actually winning. If you're red, right? And then he starts trying to counter push you. It doesn't really work. Eventually, you will lose Chariton. It's just too close to the enemy spawn. There's too many ways because they can come down here and then come across, or come down here and then come across. If they've got they'll probably keep these. In which case, you've basically got nowhere to hide in the zone. It's very, very difficult. You basically got to hide your CV there, then you get shot, or put it like behind this building. In which case, he's going to know exactly where it is because there's really nowhere else it could be. And then you know, you set up your ATGM screen, your defensive units, whatever, and then you start pushing up here and trying to take Fedor. So that's how you do it if you're an armored div. Going for mid against an infantry div is really difficult. It's really difficult. But, you know, ThreeSix, he's making good progress here. It's just, you know, there's just so many ATGMs and buildings, like more than he can ever possibly deal with. One advantage Polish troops do get is that their mortars come in wheeled armoured vehicles, which is actually really, really useful because it means that you can survive, bro. You're a very survivable boy. Do you know what I mean? It means that you can get them to the front line faster, and you can survive more counter battery because it's armored, and you don't lose any mobility because it's wheeled. Whereas usually it's either coming in like a car, in which case you got a CV here. I guess this is a good spot. Oh, you can also put an ATGM in here. You can either get it in a car, in which case it's fast but not armored, and the counter battery tends to kill it if you're not paying attention. Or you can get it in a tracked vehicle, which is slow, but it is armoured. So this is a very good compromise. It means also that you can get it much closer and get that tight dispersion circle. So, yeah. Red, you know, he's trying, but I think it honestly would have been... Because this is a very nice road to hold. If you can get... It's kind of difficult to know where to put things because you just get shot all the time from every angle. But if you've got armoured vehicles here... like even up to like here, they're not getting into this zone because you shoot them as they cross the road. And then you work up here, you try and play in the open, you play around your strengths, get your fire support set up here, you got to move your cubs up, and then run your infantry across here. I've been having this conversation with a lot of people, but yeah, armoured divs on... Oh, divs with not much infantry on Urban Frontlines, which is a ranked map. I assume this is a ranked game. It can be difficult, but it's not as impossible as people make it out to be. Like, it is difficult, It's not as impossible as they make it out to be. So, you know, a bit of infantry cycling needed here. You know, this one back, this one forwards. And, yeah, Blue's doing a really bad job dealing with Red's air. He gets minstrels. He should have 3 minstrels in mid, minimum. And then he should have the fighters for things that happen over here. But, yeah, Blue is on a +1 now, because he's got mid and he's got Ivan back. And Julius has managed to take Anna. He needs to get some AA up, some minstrels basically, because those rocket planes are just going to keep on coming back round. And you see, the minstrel, you know, it missed there. But if there were 3 of them, this should be dead. But that's 240 points, but boy, look, you don't really have a choice. So there you go, you see the 2 armor, dies in 1 hit, especially at that range. So you got to be very careful. And you see that the AT isn't amazing, but it does stun the hell out of him and slow him down and stuff. So yeah, what can I say? Iltis PC coming down here. It's actually starting to look pretty rough for Red now. Although, so he's managed to get this in here, but all Blue has to do is yeah, just run in and shoot him. So that's now stunned, which means it can't turn. Oh, the smoke saves him, but yeah, you just move up to the next building. You know where it is now, so you just run in there. Just run in there. But he's lost his own CV. But yeah, if he gets this up here, he can shoot him in the back. Get this in there. It's only 2 HP, but it will shoot first because... So all infantry AT had their aim times reduced by ½ a second. And so the tank guns aim in 3 seconds and the infantry AT aims in half that. So in this kind of situation, the tank tends to lose. And yeah, he needs to canvas this. He needs to just press Q and shift and just click around this in a big circle with all 3 of these, and he'd be killing it. He'd be killing it. But he's not. He's just sat there letting it happen, which is very sad. It's very depressing. So yeah, advantage Red again. Oh, that was a side shot, I think. Must have been for that to kill that. Advantage Red for now, but it will switch to a +1 for Blue if he takes this. Having said that, this should kill that. It might still neutralise the zone if the first Phalanga misses. Like, the Phalanga's really slow. For some reason, it now has 20 pen. But it is slow. And there you go, you see he went behind. It's quite smart, actually. So, yeah, you want to get behind this building, I guess. Yeah, he's figured it out. And there you go. So yeah, the Belgians, you know, get the... Sorry, I'm a bit under the weather. It's just, I want to make the videos. I have a duty of care, but also, this is how I relax. Playing an extremely stressful video game that I complain about constantly. So yeah, the F-16, you know, should be dealing with this. And so Red should have had his own... oh, okay, I suppose that works as well. Didn't he have 2 of these before? What happened to the other one? Died somehow. So, yeah, in the open, the T-72s really beat the snot out of the Leopard ones. They are more expensive, but I think the T-72s are a bit too cost-efficient at the moment. Oh, come on, man. Do you... What? Does he not see it? He doesn't see it. Oh. Well, something got it. It was this. So, yeah. I think Julius is playing this div wrong. I've not seen a single reservist in the M113A1B, or whatever it's called, Belgian one. It's a really strong combination because the reservist transport isn't actually a reservist transport, it's just regular transport. So you're getting a lot of M113s, and they're really good for fire support. With the 50 cals, they're not got smoke or anything, but they are good for fire support. So still +1 for Red because he actually owns this, but once this gets there, it'll go +1 for Blue, but then presumably Red has, yes, a CV coming over here. But yeah, Blue's attack here, it was very cool, but he didn't bring any AA. I would have been tempted to bring a Gepard into that fight simply because the Gepard has 3k range against helicopters. And a couple of minstrels, just generally, because you can't cover your guys from the air, you got to bring a lot of AA when you're playing those Belgians. Sadly, it's only 1 card of minstrels. If it was 2, Oh wow, that got out fought. I don't know how many it took to get him. If it was 2 cards of minstrels, the div would be a lot better, in a much better state. So, yet to see the paladins from blue as well. Like, that would have been useful to get a paladin out at some point. For the price of 3, what, 2.25 IBC12, what a great name, cards, because obviously it comes with a mech fusilier. You could have got a 155mm artillery piece and killed these, because they've not moved in ages. It's always worth having at least one RT piece. Just don't buy it too early, but do actually buy it. Because it's like a plane that doesn't get exploded by a cup. That's a good way of seeing it. It's less powerful than a plane, but it's way more survivable than a plane. So you can get a lot of value out of it, especially on this map, sniping ATGM positions. MiG-21 does go down to the Gepard with its... Oh, it's 2,825 against helicopters, 3,000 against aircraft. Okay. So F-16 cluster. So he's only brought the cluster planes, he's not brought the HE planes. Or at least we've only seen the cluster planes. What? Now he's going to fly over the Cub. Oh, Cub's not been resupplied. Will this actually kill that? Yeah, I figured as much. It's only got 2 bombs on it, and they're only 10... It started a fire underneath the vehicle, and that fire dealt that last tiny bit of damage and got it. In many such cases... So, Pychota Z mech do beat mech fusiliers. But they are, you know, just simply on account of the SVD, but they are more expensive. It's worth noting that the Saw Fallow is better than the PKM, simply, so, oh, losing that was not great. Oh, hello. So he also has the bombers. Oh, he didn't drop it. Oh, that's a shame, now he's routed. But yeah, air spam's taking a big hit. But yeah, you see these tanks, they just can't compete. Like, this has to smoke right now. Oh, well, I would have sent that one forwards, actually, and got it shooting a bit. But yeah, he's done a decent job. Is he just got a fast path down there? Okay. Pretty funny game, actually. I wonder if... I mean, if he gets behind this building, Red won't be able to AT plane him. But you see, because it's low cohesion, it's taken absolutely ages to turn. Absolutely ages. Here comes the mortar round. Oh, okay. Oh no, he pressed it again. You press it again, it starts trying to turn around the other way. Just takes longer and longer and longer and longer. So sad. And now it's slowing down again. No, units seem to have a habit of doing that. Oh no. Clumped his guys up. So you see that this cluster is just way better because it carries twice the bombs. Oh, it died. Well, okay, 4 AA pieces do that to a man. This needs to smoke right now. Smoke! Oh, wow. That's probably worth it, I guess. So 20 pen, cart, 1 shot, and 8 armor vehicle. Oh, of course, yeah, you need like 23 or something. He could have saved that. So, this guy, you know, he's almost in there. He needs to get behind that building, really. As was his original intention. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's smart as well, actually, because he knows things are coming for him. But he should stay there until the zone caps, definitely. He shouldn't just leave it on neutral now. Yeah, okay, great. Good job. So, this guy, he's hunting for targets. For some reason, they can see this, but not... Okay, so he lost vision on that. And then, yeah, then go for the next one. He's only got 1 HP because of the blunder before, and this is coming round. He needs to put this in this building, really, because he obviously doesn't see what we see, but that building's better because you know, it's taller, so you can see more. But yeah, you see how the tank keeps doing this. You notice it's currently going backwards, and then it'll probably just die. It's a pretty wild fight, actually. I wonder what's going to happen. I assume that... That's pretty funny. Yeah, so if you only got 1 HP on your tank and you're driving backwards into an enemy, then yes, the AA gun can shoot you. What a way to end the game. So GG to both players, GG to ThreeSix, rank 345. Lots of ranked games, so power to him. You know, he's not one of these 10v10 losers. Just plays 1v1, it seems. Julius, yeah, I've definitely heard of this guy before. Rank 309, so very similarly matched players, 309 and 345. Yeah, GG to both of them. They both played very well. I thought it went pretty well. But yeah, you see these rocket planes, maybe there's something to be said for them, given the 16-second reload time. That's pretty wild, actually. That's not new to this patch. That was in the last patch as well. It's just people didn't notice. And by that, I mean, I didn't notice. And then as soon as I find something, I just tell everybody, right? So if I don't find out, generally things that means yeah, whatever. I'll see you around. GG.